Hello and welcome back to Section 101 Podcast. I'm your host, Ben Al Schwartz, and today we will be reviewing SummerSlam 2024. A good show that provided us with some moments we were looking for with surrounding it, good booking decisions, but the matches struggled to be dynamic and to give us the good in-ring we were hoping for. The show kicked off with Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. 15 minutes. The match didn't do a whole lot for me. The first 2 minutes is Liv running away from Rhea, which, yes, I get it, but Rhea should have been after Liv from the get-go, kind of like the Punk McIntyre match we saw later. It should have been, I need to get after Liv Morgan, I need to do this, and she didn't. To me, it was all just pretty underwhelming, and if you look at these two, they're both very good in ring. Liv's had some good matches with Becky Lynch before, and Rhea Ripley, we know her catalog. It is one of the best ever in the women's division, but the chemistry just wasn't there for me, and hopefully they will bring that in-ring chemistry to their future matches, because this feud is not over. A couple nice counters, but there were some messy spots throughout the match, and the climax really happens when Rhea wants to use a steel chair to get herself disqualified, which I thought was a little odd after you start the match with Rhea kind of just looking at Liv when she's running away. If it's this level of, I'm going to use a chair, get myself disqualified, not even win my championship, you have to think that from the beginning of the match, she'd just be going at Liv like crazy, but that was not the case, unfortunately. Dominic takes away the chair from Rhea, which I thought was a signal that Finn was going to come out. Because in a way, though it did come back to bite Rhea later, Dominic saved her from getting disqualified. And I think you could have gone that route with Dom being the moral compass for Rhea and saying, hey, this is not right. This is something you should not be doing. And then Liv off the bat drop kicks Rhea into Dom, hits Oblivion for a great false finish. That might be the first time someone's ever kicked out of the Oblivion. Like, it's a very, very protected move, and Liv hasn't been in many high-profile matches where they've needed to build those false finishes like that. So I thought that was a really cool moment to see Rhea kick out. Kind of brought the crowd alive for the last portion of the match, and then Dom slides a chair in the ring, and then the ref is distracted by Dirty Dom. Liv hits Oblivion onto the chair for the finish, and still Liv Morgan retains the Women's World Championship. I give the match 3.5 stars. Pretty cookie cutter stuff, but it was still solid nonetheless. Working over the shoulder, popping the shoulder back in, I thought was interesting. They did a little too much. But overall, it was a solid start to SummerSlam, and I do have some complaints about the aftermatch, which I think is completely illogical storytelling. So you've been, at this point, Dom's been telling the WWE Universe and in essentially Rhea Ripley for the past 3 weeks that he is totally on Rhea's side, including verbally berating, verbally destroying Liv Morgan on the mic 2 weeks ago. How does that add up to what happened? We saw no interactions with them where Liv's trying to take him back. Very illogical storytelling. I much rather would have had Finn cost Rhea, and then they can do the Judgment Day split of Liv, JD, and Finn versus Rhea, Dom, who stays loyal to Rhea, like he says he was going to do. He doesn't lie or anything, and Damian Priest. And I think that's a good 3v3, and then you have Carlito, whatever that he's going to do with this new Judgment Day split. I just thought the finish of the match was completely illogical, and it needed a lot of work. But the match was good. 3.5 stars, like I said. After the match, Dom kisses Liv this time, but still they walk out together. Hopefully we'll give a little bit of retconning on Raw, because I still don't think it makes much sense. But hey, I'm willing to let it play out. Up next, Intercontinental Championship, Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker in a very short 5-minute glorified squash. This match was all it needed to be and not much more. Braun just a showcase for him, and all he does so well. They gave Sami hope spots. They showed he'd done his homework by moving out of the way of the spear, but Braun he stole the show. In this match, he showed, yes, I am the future. And the way he was just manhandling Sami Zayn, the spears, everything worked for me. Everything for Braun Breaker was exceptional. I still think they should have done almost a Brock Cena type match where Braun just has the win early but shows absolutely no mercy. And I still think it should have been done at Money in the Bank, but nonetheless, we end with the same result. Braun Breaker is your Intercontinental Champion, and he's going to use it just as the same way Gunther did, and that's the same way it is meant to be used to get you to that main event level, to win the mid-card championship, and once you lose it, to promote you to the main event. And I can totally see Breaker Cena next year at WrestleMania, with Cena winning the Intercontinental Championship and completing his Grand Slam titles, and then Braun wins King of the Ring. If you use this championship win well for Braun Breaker, you have potential to go places with this guy, even as close as next year. I mean, you can do things, but besides the point, the match I thought was good. 3 stars. Sami, in a way, looks strong in defeat because he got hope spots, and he's going to be invested in that bloodline stuff, which I am very excited for. So yeah, a fine match and a good cool down. What was up next was way better than what I thought it was going to be. That is the United States Championship match between Logan Paul and LA Knight. Yeah, still think Triple H missed the boat on LA Knight. This was what should have happened last year at SummerSlam. It should have been LA Knight dethroning Austin Theory, and that, I mean, he's remained over. Well, that has remained over with the crowd, but it's nowhere near what it was last year when he was getting Roman Cody reactions. I thought it was so cool to see, but I do think Triple H missed the boat. But nonetheless, it was a good moment to finally see him win the title. This was a great match. Totally exceeded my expectations. LA Knight never been the best in ring, and I think Logan Paul showed in this match. If you look at his past catalog of opponents, they're either veterans or just real good wrestlers. He showed that he can carry a guy who is good in the ring to have a great match. He is, like him or not as a person, he's a phenomenal professional wrestler. Great on the stick, great in the ring. Everything for him just works. It does. It's about as good as you can give him a celebrity perspective, and I don't even think of him as a celebrity anymore. I think of him as a wrestler. He's Logan Paul, the character now, not Logan Paul, the celebrity. The match started out with a brawl. You had LA Knight hitting a neck breaker on the announcer's table, which I thought was real cool. And because of that brawl, the match that was only 12 minutes long started off red hot. There was no point where I was like, okay, this is boring. You had LA Knight hitting a top rope modified suplex, which is one of the scariest things I've ever seen. It still shows that Logan is a little green in the ring, but that's stuff that is very easy to fix, but still could have gone horribly wrong. You had Logan hitting a springboard moonsault to the outside, which I thought was just fantastic. LA Knight kicking out of one lucky punch was really, really cool. And then you have Machine Gun Kelly trying to get, interfering in the match. You have LA Knight beating up the Prime guys and that idiot Jeff, according to Pat McAfee. But the finish came, as I mentioned, Machine Gun Kelly, who was at Logan Paul's side, handing him the brass knucks, which was conveniently on a chain. I thought that was a really cool little bit for MGK to have, wearing the chain with the brass knucks. Back on the ring apron, LA Knight hoists up Logan Paul, and Paul hits him with the brass knucks, gets ready for a buckshot lariat. He misses it. LA Knight hits the BFT 1, 2, 3, a new United States champion. LA Knight is finally his moment. It should have been this way last year, but it was still just as good this year. This match was the second best bout of the night. 3 3/4 stars for Logan Paul and LA Knight. It was fun from start to finish. Great spots and a very inventive finish. Now, Logan Paul's foot was under the rope. Whether this was on accident or not, his foot was under the rope. and Triple H has happened to making things that are on accident into stories. Could we see the rematch down the line? Because that's Logan's character. 3 years from now, he might say, "Oh, my foot was under the rope, LA Knight. I want my championship match again." Who knows? But for what this was, in a nutshell, as a match, about as good as I expected it to be, and a very good showing for the megastar, getting, in my opinion, his first great in-ring match in WWE. That brings us to Bayley versus Nia Jax. A pretty okay match. Not a lot to talk about here. Just some spots from the match. You had Bayley power bombing Nia Jax, which I thought was outstanding. She also kicked out of the Annihilator, which I get it. You want to make Bayley look strong in defeat, but can we restore the power of finishers? We're going to talk about the main event soon, and oh god, it was pretty painful to watch. And the match was just pretty dry. Some counter sequences, but it was pretty slow. I mean, Bayley's a good in-ring wrestler, but Nia Jax can't carry a good in-ring wrestler, to a great match. If they would have gone to the Takeover London style match, which is Bayley really working as the underdog, I think that works a lot better. You had Nia kicking out of Bayley the belly, the Macho Man elbow. So the match just felt kind of dry. Tiffany Stratton attempted to cash in, which I thought was quite interesting. That'll pretty much cause some dissension between Nia and Tiffany, because Nia strictly told her don't cash in, and Tiffany cashed in, which led directly to the finish of Bayley preventing Tiffany from cashing in. And then Nia hit 2 powerbombs, and not 1 but 2 annihilators, which I thought was a little bit overkill to get the win. And new women's champion Nia Jax, well deserved for what she's done in her work in this second run. I think it was exceptional what she has managed to do to turn herself around. I think her winning Queen of the Ring was about as good of a decision as you could have made. And I think they did it about as well as you could have this match. And Bayley looking strong in defeat. I don't know what the direction for her is. I mean, the SmackDown Women's division is so bleak. And you've got the tag champions mixed up in the 6-man feud now. So the Naomi stuff is going to have to wait. At the end of the day, I think, it was the right decision to have Nia win. I just don't see where Bayley goes. And that is too sad. Too sad to see someone like Bayley, who should be in world championship contention. I'm asking where you go after you lose your world title. And that's too bad, but it's something that I have faith that Triple H will find something for her. But Nia Jax is your new women's champion, and we're going to get this cool dynamic of Tiffany walking around with her pink bedazzled briefcase, and Nia just, she's got the championship, looking over her shoulder at all times. It's gonna be a cool little dynamic and something we have not explored with the Money in the Bank briefcase yet. And then the last 3 matches, probably my most anticipated 3 matches on the show. Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk kicked off those. Special guest referee Seth Rollins. I was totally fine with Rollins getting in here, and I do think that it plays into the story going forward with Punk and Rollins. Better to, Seth be the special guest referee, but there were times where the crowd was just distracted with Seth in his crazy referee gear, which, why wouldn't he be in his crazy referee gear? But there were times where it was really taking away from what McIntyre and Punk were trying to do, like, they're slow pace brawling on the outside, and the crowd is singing Seth's music, which, I mean, it's good that he's gotten over with the music, but there are times, like I always harken back to the Finn Balor promo leading up to last year's Money in the Bank, where the crowd is just singing his music, and it takes away from what they're trying to achieve. And it almost did here, and the match started out a little slower than I thought it would. The match in general was slower than I thought it was going to be. These guys went for way too many covers. They should have been going for literally 0 covers until the final one, because they don't want to win. They want to destroy each other. That was the whole goal of this match, is not to beat the other man, but to destroy the other man. I also think if you look at what they can do in terms of Seth not caring about disqualifications, why didn't you bring out kendo sticks? Why didn't you bring out chairs? I know, like, as a scripted television show, you're waiting for later to bring that stuff out. But this match had a lot missing from it. It had a lot missing from it until we got into the set parts, which I thought, as much as you took away from the middle of the match, the last final 5 minutes of the match were exceptional. Great storytelling. You have Seth getting involved on both sides, getting in both guys' faces until we have a Claymore. Punk kicks out, and McIntyre kicks out of a GTS because of just how long it took Seth to get to the cover. Then Punk hits a GTS on Seth. McIntyre Claymores Punk for the 1, 2, 3. That's right. Seth Rollins screwed CM Punk. He got in his face. He said, "No one wants you here." But in a way, you could also say that CM Punk screwed CM Punk. He had the Anaconda Vice in, and he went for the bracelet. The bracelet that Drew McIntyre took ended up becoming the kryptonite, shall we say, of Seth Rollins. And that is going to be something that they explore. Was it CM Punk or Seth Rollins that screwed CM Punk? The storytelling with the bracelet, even though it's a stupid prop, is starting to become real effective. Like, you mess with a man's family, now we're talking. But Drew still has the bracelet, and this is not over. This is going to a best of 3. The second match just got real predictable. At the end of the day, I do think you have to win. You have to give the win in the rivalry to Drew McIntyre. It makes 0 sense for this man to be putting the best character work of his career in front of the television screen and no one cares. Like, he's been so good, and I thought the match was very good. It wasn't what I expected it to be. I gave it 3 3/4, a 3.5 star match, elevated the quarter star by the excellent finish. And then, oh man, Damian Priest and Gunther. I was excited for this match. In my predictions video, I said that this was going to steal the show. And boy, oh boy, did it. These two just went out there and beat the crap out of each other. This was a Hoss match to end all Hoss matches. Bleeding. It's a sight I never thought I would see. Nonetheless, a glorious one to see. Wiping the blood on his face. You got Damian with these strong strikes and kicks. Gunther chopping the heck out of him. Some great false finishes with some power bombs, lariats. Yeah, the Razor's Edge from Priest. Gunther kicked out of the South of Heaven. Just brilliant stuff. Non-stop action. I mean, it was so similar to the Sheamus match. Two guys are just beating the hell out of each other with strikes, and it was brilliant. And the great thing with Gunther is he's got 5 finishes. You never know when the match is going to end. So it builds up to a lot of those false finishes. And I think he did an exceptional job of building up to those false finishes. Finn Balor comes out. At that point, knew he was going to factor into the finish of the match. I had Damian Priest to retain here. I do think he should have retained. But at the end of the day, the way the route they went on, the path they chose, I thought was very good. Priest hits a second South of Heaven, and then Finn puts Gunther's foot on the ropes. Oh my. And the great thing about it is Priest didn't see it. He was facing the other direction. And then they looked at the video board, and then he saw it, and I'm like, such a good little tidbit right there. Why would Damian look at the video board to see how Gunther got his foot on the ropes? He looks pissed at Finn, and then he grabs Finn. Gunther puts in a sleeper. It's how he put Finn away on Raw. So once again, it's a false finish. You never know when the match is going to end when it's with Gunther. Priest powers out of the first sleeper hold, but then goes for Finn Balor, taking his eye off the prize, and Gunther, another sleeper hold, and Finn staring Damian dead in the eyes, wins the World Heavyweight Championship. Much deserved for my favorite wrestler right now. This match stole the show, 4.5 stars. They're going to be hard-pressed to find the Gunther bad match, and this is Damian Priest's best match on the main roster. Everything about this clicked. So good. It was so good. It was just chop, forearm, and the pain, the sounds, everything it was gruesome. They were bleeding. And then you add the finish of Balor, the menacing Finn Balor heel that we all know and love. It was so good. This match was so good. Everything about it stole the show. And Gunther is the World Heavyweight Champion. I don't know what he does at Bash. Could it be the rematch? That Bash is going to be something special. And then we get to the main event. Cody Rhodes, Solo Sikoa, Bloodline Rules. Now, we all knew that this was going to be the Temu version of WrestleMania. I didn't know it was going to be this Temu. It was really bad. Like, straight up. It was really bad. A wretched pace to start. The interference picks up and you get the Tongans, the infamous Tongaloa. And Tama Tonga, they provide an interference helping Solo out. Kevin and Randy show up. Then this part really pissed me off. So you had Cody out a modified crossroads by the Tongans, which is fine. It's not any of their finishers. But then Solo kicks out of a Randy Power Slam, Kevin Senton, Cody Crossroads. What? I get you want to make Solo look strong, but that's a little bit too far. It's a little bit too far, and I think you want to protect finishers. After getting hit with two fresh guys hitting their big moves, in your right mind, can you book Solo Sikoa, of all people, to kick out of the Crossroads? So then Cody, as the match continues, hits two Crossroads, and at that moment you know, okay, it's Jacob Fatu time, and Jacob Fatu is hard carrying the Bloodline, and he comes in, best part of the match, destroys Cody Rhodes with some moonsaults and a frog splash through the table. Now, he was selling the leg after the frog splash. I've heard some people saying it was injury. I don't think it was injury. I think it factors into the finish that he couldn't get up and break up the pin. So, nonetheless, I thought it was very good. Jacob is awesome. I think he should be the Tribal Chief. I think it should have been him versus Cody in this Bloodline Rules match. Even though the story does favor Roman Solo, I think he's the guy. He's the be-all, end-all. He is that great. He's fantastic. So then the finish comes. Jacob's out. Cody hits a top rope Cody cutter out of pure exhaustion. After, Cody kicks out of a Solo top rope splash. So many kickouts in this match that did not need to happen. And as I said, a top rope Cody cutter. Both been out, and then we hear bum bum bum. Roman Reigns is back. The OTC, the original and only Tribal Chief. That's right, Roman made his return. He didn't get Def Rebelled. They went with the WrestleMania 40 remix, the greatest wrestling theme of all time, the greatest remix of a wrestling theme all time. Roman comes into the ring, Superman punch, a spear, Solo Sikoa. Cody looks confused. Roman looks conflicted. It was a beautiful finish. A beautiful finish. And a finish that sets up Cody and Roman to have more layers. Now SmackDown just went from becoming the driest show on planet Earth becoming must-see television this Friday. The power of our Tribal Chief. And for Roman Reigns to go from being the most hated man on planet Earth, the least over babyface in the WWE for 4 or 5 years. They turn him heel, and now he comes back, not positioned as a babyface, but the crowd appreciates what he's done. They acknowledge Roman Reigns. As I said, Cody hits a crossroads, not 3, just 1 crossroads, picks up the win over Solo, all while staring Roman Reigns dead in the eyes. And still, Cody Rhodes is your undisputed WWE Champion. The match gets 2.5 stars, a 2-star match until the finish, which I thought was beautiful. And you set up a lot of things going forward, a lot of dynamics going forward. So, all in all, I think SummerSlam was good. The Roman return was executed well. It was a Temu version of WrestleMania. No Jimmy, no Heyman, no nothing. Just Roman Reigns. And now you gotta have the Bloodline beat him up. Now you have to have the Bloodline absolutely destroy Roman Reigns, and he has to realize, I can't do this on my own. I need my family. And he goes back, and he gets Jimmy, he gets Jay, and he gets Sammy. To reform the OG Bloodline, and call me crazy, but if we have a 5-on-5 War Games match with Solo, Jacob Fatu, and The Rock, the fifth man for the OG Bloodline, Cody Rhodes. That is a beautiful direction. And the way he's brought into that is because, well, to reveal he is calling all the shots. And then you get him dethroning Cody Rhodes to become the champion. He joins the Bloodline side against all of his morals. The Bloodline story is far from done. And we just realized that even further. So that's all I have for you guys to say. Thank you for listening to Section 101. It's been a nice time having you. Thanks for taking out some of your time in your day. Be sure to check out our Instagram, section101.org, our website, our YouTube channel, and Spotify. Be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe if you've made it this far. That is. Thanks for listening. Have a good day, and see you next time for Section 101.